Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're getting into time management, and specifically why successful people never blame the clock. Now, have you ever looked at your schedule, felt your heart rate just absolutely spike, and wished you could magically freeze the sun just to squeeze in a few more hours? Yeah, we have all been there. You've got 3 deadlines hitting by Friday, your inbox is a total disaster zone, and the clock is just ticking away, basically laughing at you. Well, today we are breaking down a really fascinating concept through a clever time management habits stickman animation that perfectly captures this exact universal struggle. We're going to look at why some people seem to just effortlessly bend time to their will, while the rest of us are constantly racing against it. Okay, let's dive into this. Why is it that some people can build massive empires, while others, and honestly me included some days, can barely get through the first 3 items on a sticky note? Time is the great equalizer, right? We literally all have the exact same 24 hours. Yet somehow, some folks maximize every single minute while others are just desperately treading water. Picture this opening scene for a second. You've got this frantic stick figure, totally stressed out, pointing angrily at a giant wall clock and just screaming, "I don't have time. There are not enough hours in the day." Sound familiar? I know I've definitely been that stick figure a few times just this month, glaring at my watch like it's my arch nemesis. But here's the core question we need to answer. Why do truly successful people never blame that clock? Well, it starts with understanding what we're actually saying when we complain. Saying, "I just don't have time," feels incredibly true in the moment, doesn't it? When you're overwhelmed, it actually feels like you're shrinking under the weight of these giant floating clocks that are all pointing accusingly right at you. But here's the harsh reality. The no time excuse, it's often just a really comfortable defense mechanism. It's a psychological trick we play on ourselves. By blaming this abstract concept of time, we actively shift the blame away from our own daily choices. It completely removes our personal accountability. We tell ourselves it's not our fault, it's time's fault. Because, let's be honest, it is a whole lot easier to be angry at a piece of ticking plastic on the wall than to admit we just spent an hour doing absolutely nothing. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what happens when we strip away that excuse and look at the raw data of our days. When people actually sit down and track their time, the reality is, well, it's a bit of a shock. You've got these massive, undeniable chunks dedicated to scrolling on your phone, binge watching TV, maybe hitting snooze a few too many times. Then, sure, there's a big chunk for standard work and daily chores. But way down there, barely even visible, is this tiny little sliver dedicated to our actual long-term goals. So most of our so-called missing time isn't missing at all. It's hiding in plain sight. It's getting swallowed up by small, unnoticed distractions that we willingly allow into our schedules. We're basically trading our future goals for instant temporary comfort, minute by minute. So how do we actually fix this imbalance? Well, successful people don't possess a secret time machine. They don't magically get 25 hours in a day while we get 24. Instead of our frantic friend yelling at the clock, picture a totally calm stick figure. They're just sitting quietly at a desk, checking off tasks one by one while the clock ticks away harmlessly in the background. They've stopped blaming the clock and started asking themselves this much better, much more empowering question. What am I choosing to prioritize? It's a subtle mental shift, but guys, it completely changes the game. It moves the focus away from what you lack to what you absolutely control. It puts you firmly back in the driver's seat of your own day. Let's see how this builds into a practical, actionable strategy. Think of this as a journey of ownership. Right now, a lot of us are just sitting helplessly in the passenger seat with our arms crossed, complaining about the direction the car is going, and blaming the driver, which in our minds is the clock. But there is a clear 3-step sequence to get out of that passenger seat. Step 1, you have to stop blaming the clock. Step 2, take absolute ownership of your choices. And step 3, turn time into a tool, not an enemy. You have to climb out, confidently grab that steering wheel, and start driving your own path. Because the second you take ownership, time stops being this relentless force pushing you around, and it starts working for you. So the crucial point is really seeing this stark reality check. Think about this contrast. On one hand, you have someone loudly complaining about their lack of time, feeling totally overwhelmed, yet they are endlessly scrolling on their phone, completely distracted. On the other hand, you have someone with the exact same busy schedule, the exact same 24 hours, quietly and methodically working through a short, prioritized task list. One person spends their day blaming the clock and wasting the precious hours they do have, while the other spends it building something meaningful. It is the exact same busy day, just handled with entirely different time management habits. They are making completely different choices with the exact same resources. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the incredible paradigm shift it creates. Imagine that giant imposing wall clock from the beginning of our explainer. But this time, as you walk up to look at it, the face of the clock transforms. The numbers completely fade away, and it becomes a mirror, showing your own reflection staring right back at you. That is the ultimate twist here. The clock was never the problem. It was always a mirror, reflecting exactly how we chose to spend our day. If your day feels chaotic and unproductive, the clock is just reflecting your chaotic and unproductive choices. It's a tough pill to swallow, for sure, but recognizing this is also incredibly liberating. It means the power to change is entirely within you. Which brings us directly to you. Yes, you watching this right now. If you've been feeling that pressure, it is time to literally put down the phone. Well, okay, right after this explainer finishes, but pick up a physical notepad and calmly start taking control of your focus. Make it a daily habit. The very next time you feel that familiar stress rising in your chest, the next time you open your mouth to say, I just don't have time, catch yourself. Stop, look at your schedule, and ask this exact question. What am I actually choosing to do with this hour? The power to change your trajectory is entirely in your hands. You get to decide right now if this next hour goes toward a goal or toward a distraction. And that leaves us with a final thought to ponder. I want you to be brutally honest with yourself for a second. We all have them, those sneaky little habits that quietly drain our minutes and hours. So what is it for you? What is one thing stealing your time without you even noticing? Is it that quick check of social media that magically turns into 45 minutes? Is it over-planning without ever actually executing anything? Identify that hidden time thief today. Take back the steering wheel. Thank you so much for joining me in this explainer. Start looking at your clock as a mirror, and I promise you, you will find all the time you need.